Well, dire wolves are back, baby. Kinda. Sorta. It only took 12,000 years, so it's about time.
The howl of a dire wolf hasn't been heard on planet Earth for more than 10,000 years. That's because the species is extinct, or was. Colossal Biosciences is a Dallas-based company that's using genetic engineering to de-extinct long-gone species.
I'd rather have cheaper groceries, but I still think bringing back the wolf is cool, nonetheless.
And this is the first time Colossal's dire wolf pups, who are now 6 months old, have been seen by the public.
We thought this was a really cool way that we could create value, create impact, inspire people, and then also hopefully thoughtfully rewild some of these species.
If some of this genetic tinkering feels familiar, it's because Hollywood has been here first.
Yeah, Jurassic Park was a cautionary tale, not something to strive for.
When you're playing with nature, nature usually wins. Nature is much more complicated than the ability of our brains to understand it.
But the team at Colossal says their mission to restore extinct species is also about stopping the disappearance of endangered ones today.
We should be giving ourselves the opportunity to see what our big brains can do to reverse some of the bad things that we've done to the world already.
Hi, my name is Leo, and welcome to today's video. So today's topic being mainly about Colossal Biolabs and their animals that they're bringing back. We're starting with the dire wolf, of course, because that's the most recent one. They brought back 3 wolves, 2 boys and a girl, Remus, Romulus, and Khaleesi.
Romulus and Remus, named after the Roman mythological twin brothers who were raised by a wolf, were born on October 1st, 2024. And in January, they were joined by a younger sister that the Colossal team named Khaleesi.
And I mean extra large gray wolves, as in the ones they brought back, they used gray wolf DNA. A dire wolf, an original dire wolf, is a species all of its own, of course, but that's what they used. Just so we're clear, that's why I say this. Now you may be wondering what's so special about a dire wolf. They are just extra large gray wolves that are no longer here due to environmental changes, of course, their diet changing, and human hunting. As far as their diet, they were suspected to have eaten horses, pronghorn deer. It ate sloths, mastodons, woolly rhinoceroses, bisons, and camels. You may be wondering, well, if they made these dire wolves and they're going to be bred in captivity, they are surely not going to release them back into the wild.
And also hopefully thoughtfully rewild some of these species.
Being a lot of these animals are protected or extinct. So why all this? And I'm not really here for answers. I'm just throwing out my big brain theory here. Personally, I think they brought back the dire wolves first because of how big Game of Thrones was. I mean, they named one of the wolves Khaleesi, and how cool dire wolves are, that a lot of big investors would invest in their company to help them push forward a bunch of their other projects. That's my big brain theory. Don't quote me on that, but that's just what I'm thinking. Because I see no other reason why you would bring back an extinct animal that most of their diet is either protected or extinct still. So what is the plan here? One of my favorite animals that I really want to see come back, and I hope it does, is the woolly mammoth.
Someday, when you gone extinct, when you make a stink.
Shut up, Sid.
It's projected to come out around 2028. And the idea is actually environmental, which is great. Unlike the dire wolf, again, that still gets me of what it was, but I already gave my theory on that. The woolly mammoth's being brought back because the permafrost is melting, which sounds ironic. Perma meaning permanent and frost being frozen, and it's melting. But anyway, the permafrost in the north. I believe they are trying to release them up in northern America, so they can pack down the snow, creating more permafrost and keeping it, still packed in and still frozen, cooling the earth around 3 degrees, which is a pretty big number in the long run of things.
Stop, hey, what's that sound? All the mammoths are in the ground.
And I'm actually really excited to see that. I mean, if they give it the direwolf treatment, they're probably gonna make an African elephant very hairy and then call it a woolly mammoth. But I am still pretty excited to see that.
The woolly mammoth is about to make a comeback.
Bring back woolly mammoths.
The Dallas-based biotech company Colossal Biosciences has planned to bring back the woolly mammoth by 2027. We will have the woolly mammoth alive again. Since woolly mammoths share 99.6% of their DNA with Asian elephants, Colossal scientists plan to use the CRISPR gene editing technique to fill in the gaps with DNA from mammoth remains found by archaeologists. This DNA would be used to create a hybrid Asian elephant woolly mammoth embryo, which would then use the larger African elephant as a surrogate parent. The plan is to resurrect the woolly mammoth and in doing so slam the brakes on climate change. By reintroducing the mammoths, Colossal say they could re-establish the grassland ecosystem that once existed across the Arctic and boost the carbon sequestering power of the permafrost. If the project succeeds, we may live to see herds of mammoths roaming the Arctic tundra.
And how they're gonna put the woolly back in these woolly mammoths is that they genetically engineered some lab mice, making them woolly mice. And they're gonna splice the DNA of the woolly mice with the elephant and put it into an African elephant like they just told us, and they're gonna make a woolly mammoth. So that is wild.
If your species will continue, clap your hands. If your species
Sid, I'm gonna fall on you again.
But yes, the woolly mammoth is definitely my favorite animal of the 4 that they're bringing back soon, and I cannot wait to see it.
Please. Thank you. Now I can climb out. Quick!
Free baby, yeah!
The next project that they're going to do, they haven't really released a date on when they would expect to see this, but it's definitely within our lifetime, is they're bringing back the dodo bird. And the dodo bird is about a 3-foot tall, basically chicken, and it's indigenous to the island of Mauritius, which is about east of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. The idea was they were native to this island, sailors came by, they had no natural predators, they just walked up, they had no survival instinct.
Don't fall in! If you do, you will definitely... Intruders! Intrude! Ah!
And humans had to come along, kill one and eat it, and the rest is history.
There goes our last female.
That would be really cool to see them bring it back. Not really an environmental reason other than just the flex that they could do it, which is really cool.
If you weren't smart enough to plan ahead, then doom on you! Doom on you. Doom on you.
The next one I'm pretty curious to see is the Tasmanian tiger, which technically isn't a tiger, it is a carnivorous marsupial. Yeah, were you expecting the pouch to be the other way around? Me too. Me too. But the Tasmanian tiger, long story short, a bunch of fluff being cut out here. They're native to Australia and Tasmania, of course. The dingoes and the Tasmanian tiger in Australia were, same competition. Both apex predators in their field. Dingoes won, Tasmanians died out. And then of course in Tasmania, basically the same idea, minus a few dingoes. A lot of people were misinformed and thought that they were actually affecting, the sheep or the livestock when they weren't really that big of a threat, and they were killed off.
Colossal, the company that brought the dire wolf back to life, creating puppies from DNA taken from old fossils, says it could bring back the extinct Tasmanian devil.
Tasmanian tiger. The devil is still alive.
Leading bioethicist Dr. Evie Kendall from Swinburne University has warned against the ethical implications and unforeseen side effects that should be considered before bringing the animal that went extinct in the 1930s back.
Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you did. I just wanted to show you some animals I was excited to see within my lifetime. And let me know if you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. See you in the next one.